everyone, my name is Tanya Goyal and I will be discussing on gender inequality in India. First of all, what is gender inequality? It is a social phenomenon in which people are not treated equally on the basis of gender. It is a major problem. India has been ranked low on different indices of gender disparity due to a multitude of causes of gender inequality, including significant levels of discrimination against women and numerous discriminatory societal norms, legislation, and cultural practices. What are the main causes? First, illiteracy. In India, the factors of gender inequality for girls have resulted in educational regress. Despite the country's reforms, girls in India are still denied the right to an education. People must change their minds and recognize the benefits of educating girls. A well read, educated woman ensures that her family members, particularly her children, receive an adequate education. Second, patriarchal setup. Men predominate in both society and familial life in India. This has always been the case and is still practiced in many houses today. Although urbanization and education are helping to change this mindset, there is still a long way to go before the situation is permanently changed. Third, poverty. Despite its recent climb to prominence and tremendous improvement, India remains a developing country with a substantial population living below the poverty line. Poverty is also a factor in India's gender disparities. One of the key disadvantages is that, despite the availability of education in rural regions, families prefer to send their men rather than their daughters for study. Fourth, women's lack of awareness. This lack of understanding is typically attributed to current cultural and social traditions that claim women should be submissive to men. It is necessary to remove these impediments and enhance women's understanding of their rights in order for them to demand equality. Fifth, child marriage. It is the main cause. Girls are pressured into marriages before the age of 18 in order to start a family. This is due to families' conservative beliefs that only boys should attend schools because they need education and females are expected to care for the family. Early marriages result in pregnancies in women who are still unable to care for themselves or their unborn children. As a result, their physical health suffers. Sixth, son preference. Boys are granted sole rights to inherit the family name, properties, and are regarded as adding status to their family. Sons are thought to have better economic utility since they can give additional labor in the agriculture. Seventh, discrimination against girls. In impoverished families, daughters face discrimination in medical treatment and vaccines against critical childhood disorders. These practices contribute to health and survival disparities for girls. Eighth, dowry. It is a payment in cash or presents made to the bridegroom's family along with bride in India. The system in India adds to gender inequalities by instilling in girls the notion that they are a burden on their families. Parents store gold for their daughters' dowry since their birth but do not invest so they can achieve gold medals. The payments of dowry has been prohibited under the Dowry Prohibition Act of 1961 in Indian civil law and subsequently by sections 304B and 498A of the IPC. Now, what is gender-based violence? First, rape. According to National Crime Records Bureau's 2013 annual report, 24,923 rape crimes were registered across India in 2012. However, this figure is likely to be higher due to many unreported occurrences. In 90% of the cases, victim knew the suspect rapist, like their relative or their neighbors. However, certain rape instances in which there was no connection between the victim and the rapist sparked large protests in India as well as extensive international media coverage like the well-known Nirbhaya case. Second, domestic violence. According to one survey, 4 out of every 10 women in India had suffered domestic violence in their lifetime, and 3 out of every 10 women have experienced domestic violence in the last year. Domestic abuse victims frequently remain silent out of shame, fear of vengeance, and possibly social isolation within their communities. Alcoholism was found as the most common factor of domestic violence. It was also discovered that when a husband does violent acts against his wife, other members of the joint family frequently initiate the violence. Third, witch hunting. In some rural areas of India, more violent kinds of violence are seen. Witch hunting is a widespread problem among the rural tribal women, particularly in the state of Jharkhand. It refers to violence or killings committed when a woman is believed or accused of causing diseases, sickness, low crop harvest, and so on. Witch hunting derives from the idea of spirits representing the good and witches representing the wicked and is a prominent concept in tribal culture. Residents in rural areas, particularly tribal villages in Jharkhand, frequently rely on superstitious characters in village due to a lack of educational and healthcare infrastructure. Now, what is the solution of all this? It is vital to increase the value of females by investing in and empowering them via education, skills, sports, and other activities. We may collectively contribute to the achievement of certain outcomes through boosting the value of girls, some short term, others mid term, and others long term. Changing the value of girls requires the participation of men and women and boys. By providing girls with the resources, safety, education, and skills they require in everyday life, we can lessen the risks they encounter and allow them to fully develop and contribute to India's growth. I hope this was a useful presentation and thank you so much.